All right, so yesterday we had a bell ringer on the Crusades. Okay, we talked quite a bit about it um, on Tuesday. Yesterday, showed you a video of the Crusades, what it was like to try to live through it, and what did we find? Was it easy? Was it an easy time? Chris? No, I wasn't an easy time to live
Well, all sorts of things. There was hunger,
there.
disease,
Yeah, good.
infighting between the kingdoms.
Yep.
Um, whatever food they got wasn't even to suit their health needs.
Yeah. In some cases, had to resort to cannibalism, right? Yeah, pretty crazy things going on there. It was a bloodbath, though, right? And we talked a little bit yesterday, the video explained about how these Christian crusaders were going to take out anybody that didn't have the same religious perspective as them, right? Even the Byzantine Empire, they had Christianity, but it was a little bit different ideology. So, what happened to the Byzantine Empire? Kind of dwindled, right? The Crusaders ransacked Constantinople, their capital, and it caused a lot of issues between the two empires. Again, they represent Christianity. And they use it as their main religion, but it's a different ideology. It's a little different perspective of Christianity, right? Also, talk about the Muslim groups. Obviously, that is the main rival of the Christian Crusaders, the Pope, as they're moving down into North Africa, Spain, and the Middle East. And they're trying to capture the Holy Land. I didn't mention this, but the Children's Crusade. You guys ever hear the Children's Crusade before? Caroline, go ahead. What do you know about the Children's
From
Crusade?
what I remember from it, there's a fairy tale version too, which doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But it's basically where a lot of kids went and decided to leave. They said leave and they said like. That's why I remember from it.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, the Pope thought, well, another way we could try to take over the Holy Land, not by bloodshed, not by constant war. Well, let's just try to send children down. Why children? Because they're innocent, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Pope thought, well, we'll just kill them with kindness. We'll send the kids down, and they'll just
and then they'll kill the kids.
What happened? Yeah, they killed the kids. Yeah, a lot of them actually sold into slavery. A lot of them killed. A lot of them raped. It was terrible, terrible stuff. And you got to think, these children, a lot of them were from peasants, so they weren't educated. They didn't know really how to read a map. So many of them didn't even make the destination. But yeah, wild stuff. I tell you what, I don't know.
And he's supposed to be the head of the church.
Yeah.
God on earth.
Yeah.
Holy heck, killing kids. Question.
Okay.
You know, on the castle project,
Yeah.
I wanted to know, do you need the dimensions and do you want it to scale?
I told them when I was going over it not to worry too much about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I said, but I wanted to make sure,
Yeah.
because then I don't want to say that, and then your doctor have a bunch of points,
No.
because I said they didn't.
Now, when I was going over the directions.
Okay, but I wanted to make sure, because I probably wasn't here.
All right.
I don't listen.
Hey, video lesson, right? Like and subscribe.
Oh, stop.
Well, thank you, Ms. O'Neill.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's go over this real quick. So, RFP or D, it's a religious, political, or economic reason. So, the desire to take control of Jerusalem away from the Muslims. What do we think? Paul? Political? Okay, all right, I could maybe agree with that. All right, does anybody have anything different for that one? Caroline? Religious? Okay, all right. Now, I'm looking more towards religious for that one. All right, good. So again, the Pope saw this rise, this movement of these Muslim groups into Spain, right? We talked a little bit about Charles Martel, the Hammer, how he pushed away these Muslim groups during the early Middle Ages with the Frank Kingdom. But now, all of a sudden, the Pope, as time went by, and he wants to try to eliminate that rival religion. All right, the belief that fighting in a crusade would give you forgiveness of sins. Connor, it's religious. Okay, good job. The chance to travel and make money. Ozzy? Economic. Okay, good. The desire to defend the Byzantine Empire from the Turks. Good, Chris. Political. Okay, good. You could even argue too, maybe religious, because the Byzantine Empire with Christianity, right? Again, it's not solely the same. It's not exactly the same as what the Christian Crusaders had of the Holy Roman Empire. But at the same time, you can even argue that. All right. the opportunity for younger sons of European nobles to get new land in the Middle East. Go ahead, Wyatt. Economic? Okay, all right, yeah, okay, we can see that, we can see that. Claiming more land, expanding the power of the church. Okay, good. The possibility of opening up new trade routes between Europe and the Middle East. Go ahead, Batista. Economic, yeah, good job, good job. All right, two, take another look at the reasons why Europeans were willing to fight. Which one would have convinced you most to go on the crusade and why? Caroline.
To make money, because I'm not religious and well,
Okay, all right. So to make money, to make some riches here. All right. Okay, good. Yeah. So it's always nice to get a little bit more wealth, a little bit more riches. And at this time, if you're rich, I mean, even today, you have power. Right? You're up that hierarchy a little bit higher. All right. Good. Good. Anything else here for this one here? Alana, go ahead. Yeah, okay, good, good. Yeah, so again, we all, I don't want to say everybody, but we're all somewhat sinful, right? We all don't follow the rules, but yeah, in some cases, this might be the best way for some of these peasants. Again, religion was a high priority at the time. And if these peasants could have their sins forgiven, why not, right? If they have a rightful place in heaven, that's awesome. Okay, good, good. Anything else here? Anything else? Okay, all right. So, timeline of the four Crusades. I attached that to the video lesson from Tuesday, and hopefully you guys check that out. That will come in use for studying for a test. All right, number 3. Why did the first crusade begin? What happened in Jerusalem? Yeah, for number 3 here. Chris, go ahead.
The first crusade began because the Pope was asked by the Byzantine Empire for protection.
Okay.
So the Pope decided that the Byzantine Empire would be a valuable ally,
Yeah.
and so he just decided to kind of make up the idea of we really need to retake Jerusalem
Yeah.
for our own religious reasons, and encourage everybody to go on the crusade.
Awesome, good job. Who was that again? Pope Urban. Pope Urban II. Good job. Again, we talked about it a little bit with the Frank Kingdom. That idea of the Muslim groups rising up into Europe. That was a huge threat, right? That was a huge threat to the Pope. And that's another reason why we pushed for the Crusades. Good. 4. Why was the Second Crusade seen as a failure? Nick?
It was basically a poorly planned.
Poorly planned. A lot of them were, right? A lot of them were. And again, we mentioned this a little bit yesterday. Who were the main crusaders? Who were these people? What rank were they in your feudal pyramid? Go ahead, Austin. Yeah, they're the peasants, right? So when it came to organization, forget about it, right? It was really hard to, really establish logistically the way to Jerusalem, the way to the Middle East. A lot of these people died on their track to it, their travel to it. We mentioned quite a bit about with famine, with a lot of the harsh conditions of the weather, and just marching for that long. And it took over 3 years to get there. So obviously that's going to be a daunting task. All right, good. So yeah, you can say mismanagement, right? You can say about poor planning, just unorganization. All right, good. All right, 5. What was the purpose of the Third Crusade? What was the purpose of the Third Crusade? All right, Alana, go ahead. Saladin, yeah. There's many ways you can pronounce it, but yeah, Saladin. He was this Muslim leader, okay, and he took back Jerusalem, the Holy Land, after the First Crusade. So kind of during the Second Crusade, he takes it back. Right? So again, this is just really a tug of war match over the Holy Land, and this was constant strife, constant battle. All right, so we talked a little bit about Richard the Lionheart. Okay, the video mentioned about that yesterday, and Emperor Barbarossa. Okay, from the Holy Roman Empire. These two men went down to try to duke it out with Saladin. And Barbarossa, he died actually trying to swim, which was weird. He's trying to relax and he drowned. But anyway, with Richard the Lionheart, he faced a lot of issues on his travel down to the Middle East. poor weather conditions. A lot of these crusaders died on their travel. Yeah, Saladin won. He was victorious. All right, 6. What made the Fourth Crusade different from the first 3? Go ahead, Amelia. Awesome. Good job. Good job. So yeah, it wasn't fought in the Holy Land. It wasn't fought in Jerusalem. It was actually fought in Constantinople. At the Byzantine Empire. There's Constantinople, guys, right here. Okay. So really not too far away. But at the same time, why were they going to Byzantine? Why are we going to the empire there? Amelia? Yeah, they're going to loot it, right? So again, it just goes to show really the Pope, even though you might represent Christianity, if it's just a different viewpoint of it, a different perspective, that's still not in line with what the Pope wants or his main objective, his main mission is. So anybody that challenges the Pope or his religious ideology, well, they're dead, right? They're dead. So they ransacked the place, even though they were viewed as allies. So this was kind of different, right? This was almost a friendly fire in a way. But I guess it just goes to show really what the Pope's true intentions were. Just try to take out any rival religion. All right, the primary sources. What are primary sources? I don't think I asked you about this. I pretty much thought that it was implied that you knew what they were. What are primary sources? Parker.
Things.
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 Okay.
Nice.
Wow. Dictionary over here. Encyclopedia. Oh, wow. Go ahead, Parker.
They're either first-hand accounts of things.
Things, yes. Good, good.
Things that happen in history.
All right, good job. So they're first-hand accounts, right? So this might be, let's say, a book, might be quotes, right? This is a person that actually experienced the event, right? So they're writing about it. They're detailing about their perspective during this event. Okay, so again, a first-hand account, a primary source, these are people that actually experienced it. They witnessed the event going on, or let's say a part of it. And what we learn about their writings is, again, a primary source. So a secondary source, what does that mean? What's a secondary source then? B, go ahead. All right, yeah, good job, good job. You guys love saying things. Yeah, so secondary
I should
source.
see doctor.
Ah,
I was just saying, I should see doctor if you didn't teach us to veer away from that.
thanks. All right, yeah, so thing one and thing two. All right, so the secondary sources, these are secondary accounts. So these are people that weren't actually at the event, that didn't witness it, that weren't there to experience it, but they're really taking from these primary sources and applying it to research, applying it to, their viewpoint, their perspective. Okay, so they're not altering it, they're just writing more about these primary sources. Okay, so this is years afterwards, obviously, and people detailing what their perspective, their viewpoint of these primary sources of the account. All right, good. So I thought these were interesting here. So let's get to the bottom. Let's get to the bottom here. So, were the first 4 Crusades a success or a failure for the Europeans, and why? So you're supposed to detail a few examples with your response here from the primary sources. What do we have? What do we have? Tell me. All right, Chris, go ahead. What do you think?
No.
You say no. Why?
Well,
Don't say things.
there were great many things. So, okay. Even though the first crusade did manage to capture Jerusalem,
Yeah.
well, the thing is, the Crusaders definitely weren't turning these into holy wars. So if they're meant to be holy wars and they're not, how can that be successful? For example, there was in the second source the slaughter of all those Jews.
Yeah.
Well, God doesn't like that.
Well, you say that's not very religious, right?
The Jews are his holy people, and well, he'd rather that they be accepted into his kingdom rather than not be given a chance to get into it. So, especially from the point of making it a holy war, they failed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. So you're saying no. You're saying that this is a complete failure. The idea that they captured the first crusade, but then it changed hands. obviously pretty quick with the Second Crusade, with the Third Crusade. And like you said, with taking out a lot of these other groups, so Jews, so taking out a lot of these other Muslim groups, and even people that respect Christianity, just with a different perspective, they're going to be taken out, right? They're going to be really raided, plundered, killed. Okay, good. Anybody else have a different perspective here? Different thought of the Crusades? Anybody? Amelia? They were a failure? Okay, why did you say they're a failure? Yeah, so how religious is that, right? So again, when we're talking about these holy wars, we think that, oh, maybe it's a little bit more kinder, right? Maybe we're thinking a little bit of not as bloodshed, not as much brutality. And when we read a lot about the Crusades, when we just learned about it, with the trek there, with cannibalism, with the mutilation of all these different religious groups, it doesn't seem like it's particularly good. Right? In any case, what do you think the Pope's trying to wield? What does this indicate, the Crusades, about the Pope? He's what? He's all powerful, right? And he's just trying to seek for power. And he's utilizing the church religion to do so. And you think that's pretty corrupt? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, anyway, are we all good on the Crusades? Good with that assignment there. Okay, good, good. Real quick, I just want to talk about William the Conqueror. Right? It's a pretty cool name. Pretty cool name. So I'll talk about him, and then I'll let you guys work on your projects. Because tomorrow, those assignments are due. Remember, have that assignment turned in. If you don't, well, you're not going to get a grade on it. So please turn that assignment in. Here are your terms for today. This won't take too long, I promise. The war was really fought over, really a struggle over the crowd. The decision thought that hey, this person is worthy of that. And we'll mention more about it. So William the Conqueror, awesome name. The Doomsday Book, jeez. What's up?
No offense, what music?
Oh, I guess so. How about a pen?
Sure.
Okay. I don't really have pens. The Normans and the Battle of Hastings. There you go. There you go. Leave your hand up for something. Are you good? Okay. Huh?
I couldn't find your class.
Go find it. Oh, you find it now? All right, good. Good. Yes, I mean. Oh, these two guys. Traveling the Holy Land. The more. Oh, really? Good with the terms here? No? Okay, give me another minute. All right, so William the Conqueror, who was he? Who was he? All right, Chris, first. Yeah, good job, good job. So when we're looking at the Norman Kingdom, all right, this was still what we know of the Frank Kingdom, okay? But this is the northernmost part. So these were actually a group of Vikings. You guys remember talking a little bit about the Vikings? All right, so towards the High Middle Ages, a lot of these Viking tribes were actually interweaving within feudal Western Europe, okay? And the reason for it is because of stability, right? Because of feudalism, because of a larger food supply. You guys remember talking a little bit about the innovations of the High Middle Ages with agriculture? All right, yeah, so again, with these northern parts here of France, okay, this is actually established by William the Conqueror. Okay, I'm sure you guys heard before of the D-Day invasion, right? Yeah, you guys hear in Normandy, France, right? That's where we're talking about, the northern part of France. Really right at the English Channel, okay, looking across to England. That's where we're mentioned, that's where we're talking. So William the Conqueror, well, real quick, plain and simple, he just thought that the king that was appointed in England, all right, he didn't really appreciate. His name was Harold II. Okay, so he was just like, you know what, Harold II is not the rightful person to be the king. So plain and simple, William the Conqueror said, F this guy, we're going to travel across the English Channel and defeat him, take him out. And that's exactly what happened. That's it. So the name William the Conqueror comes from him taking over England and establishing himself as the king, as the ruler of England. And you got to think about it, that's a pretty amazing feat to accomplish. Why is it so amazing that William the Conqueror did it? Go ahead, Austin.
He was able to transport an army, able to take over England across the English Channel.
Yeah, good job. Across the English Channel. And we'll talk throughout history when it comes to World War I and even World War II. One of the biggest obstacles for Germany taking over Great Britain is the English Channel. I know you're looking at this body of water and thinking, oh, it's not that large, it's not that big. But with the defenses of England, okay, and really just traveling a whole army across the English Channel, it's near impossible to accomplish. But in 1066, William the Conqueror, he did it, pretty much without any issues. Right? Harold actually took an arrow right to the eye. That's how he died. So once he died, it was over, and William the Conqueror established himself as the king. All right, so the Normans is the group that he obviously pushed across the English Channel to take over England. All right, and with that, he decided to try to inspire the culture of the Norman people. So he does so by first forcing people to utilize this language, right? And this language is going to turn into what we know as modern day English. Okay, so English-speaking people, what we know and talk today, right? So this is actually establishing this language. So he's actually taking parts of French, okay, this language and applying it to the Anglo-Saxon language of the time. And this, after years and years, it interweaves within each other, and it becomes the English language of the day. So when it comes to importance, that's what it brings. It's really detailing about the language that we know, the culture that we know of England today. It comes from William the Conqueror taking over the land of England. All right, the Doomsday Book. What was that? That sounds pretty terrible, doesn't it? Doomsday Book. Paul?
It says, the most complete survey of the pre-industrial society and
Yeah, good job. So as William Conqueror is landing in England, as he's taking it over, his main objective is to know which person owns what land, how many people there are, the population, right? Which person owns cattle, horses, farmland, and power. Okay, that's really what it is. So in a way, it's a consensus. He's trying to see exactly a little bit more of the ins and outs of England itself. Okay, he wants to know about the population. He wants to know how many people are there. He wants to know really about the wealth of England at the time. So it's almost like an IRS agent. But he's really just trying to see exactly the ins and outs of England as he's taking it over. And if he's going to be the new ruler, he wants to know the ins and outs of it, right? He wants to know every aspect of this new conquered territory, this new land. He wants to know how many people are located there. He wants to know the wealth of the area. And at the same time, he wants to know a little bit about some of the land, the cattle, horses that they have occupied. He's going to establish feudalism there. So we talked about feudalism already. Do I need to talk about that anymore? Okay. So he establishes feudalism there, and at the same time, he builds castles all across England to protect, right? Protect and try to obviously have some sort of safety for people as he's the new rightful king. All right, is there any questions on William the Conqueror? So as he becomes this leader of England, what do you think he's going to do with his forces? You think he's going to join the Crusades? Think he's going to join the Crusades? He does. Yeah. So this happens in 1066. We know the Crusades happen a little bit afterwards, but he utilizes his forces and he travels with the Holy Roman Empire in the Crusades. And there's actually many settlements all throughout Italy that the Normans also conquered. And you guys know where Sicily is located. Yeah, it's a small island here, right off of Italy. He actually settles and establishes Sicily for the Norman culture, which I think is interesting. But here they were, once Vikings, now they are establishing what we know as modern English. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about the framework of government more, probably on Monday of next week, that he brings to the table when it comes to, it's not him, but it's his kids, his heirs, right? They bring. All right, is there any questions on that, guys? All right, so the main thing to know about William the Conqueror is that he brings what we know as modern day language that we know and speak today. Two, and it takes some time, obviously. It's a combination of his culture, his language, with the Anglo-Saxon that was once there. All right, there we go. So I'll give you guys the rest of the time. We have about 9 minutes or so, 8 minutes to work on your assignment. So I think the best way to do it again is to have the Google Slides there, and once you have your national bills, take a picture of it, put it on the Google Slides, detailed, and then we will project it on the screen as the presentations are going. Each person, whoever part they did, whatever part they did, they can describe it to the whole class of why they did it, why the purifications are there, and we'll go through it. Okay? Pretty simple. What's up? No. Look at that.
I was already. You know, they have so much.
We got Bronson.
All right, guys, I'm gonna play some music for you.
What else should I add?
why, you gotta have your.
I lost him today. I saw him working on it, so I'm sure he's good to go.
No, no, you gotta do it.
Okay,
Oh, no, I-